What's happening, martial arts friends? My name is Nick. Welcome to the Karate Playbook. And in the last video that we did, we talked about how to creatively use our jab reverse punch in some new ways that the other person may not have seen. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how we can hide our target areas so that as we move in, we're not getting scored on. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so as we're working our jab reverse punch combination, we need to think from the other side's perspective as well. So if we're moving in, we're going to be doing a lot of the work for them if they plan on countering us. So if we are throwing our jab and rotating our body too big, we're going to give them all the stuff that they want to hit. So on my good friend Bob here, if our body is rotated square like this, we have our nose, our mouth, our chin, our throat, our solar plexus, and everything down from there. There really is not something we want to get hit. Now if we turn our body sideways, now with Bob obviously we don't have a guard, but we have our ribs, our hips, everything that's a little bit more durable. So when we're doing our jab, we want to have our body bladed like this the entire time. So I always think about having two walls that are really close together. And actually, sometimes in class, we'll have two people stand nice and close, and the other person will just jab straight through like this. All right, so if I'm jabbing and I'm thinking about this reverse punch, what will happen is your body will rotate and you'll wind up being squared, and that'll leave you open for that reverse punch, and it'll be very easy for the other person. So as we blade, it would be nice if we could just blade our body and not have any target area, so just be completely not vulnerable at all, but that's probably not the case. So we kind of have to make sure that our guard is there, we're pressing it forward, and if we're throwing that jab as we're moving in, that it's something they really have to deal with. So I can't throw a halfway jab, I really need to throw it out there so they have to respond to it. But if I throw it and I square up, I could definitely get countered on very easily. So as we move in, we're going to keep our body bladed as much as possible. All right, now a second thing to keep in mind is that we don't want to bring this hand back. So our rear hand, we don't want to pull back like we would in traditional kata or in basics. So when we throw this, we want to keep this hand loaded and facing forward so that it's ready to throw this reverse punch. This is going to make our punches a lot faster, and it gives me the opportunity to block and protect myself if they do fire anything back at me. Alright, now as we get done with that jab and we're ready to throw this reverse punch, that's when we're going to let our hips rotate. So on Bob here, as I throw my jab, my body is completely sideways. My legs might be loaded facing forward, just depending on what your stance is, because everybody has a little bit of a different position, but your body should be bladed as much as possible. This does two things. It obviously protects us from getting hit in the solar plexus and anywhere that's really vulnerable. And it also elongates my jab. So if I throw it from here and I just blade my body, you can see that distance that I'm gaining just by turning my hips and my shoulders sideways. All right, so now as we throw this reverse punch, I'm gonna take, let's say my belt knot is facing towards you right now. I'm gonna take my belt knot and twist it towards the back wall. Now in order to do that, my rear heel is going to have to twist as far as possible. So this little rotation in our base foot is going to allow for a longer punch and a lot more power in it as we do it. Now as I do this rotation, my hip, my shoulder, my heel, everything is rotating at the same time, and it's like a wall, all at the same time going forward. So I throw this jab, this hand is still pressing, and as I go, boom, our body goes straight into the target. Our elbow stays close against our body, and we go straight in and out. Now if I do this straight forward here, as I go, I'm throwing this bladed completely here. This hand is still ready, and I'm not going to turn my hips this way. I'm going to let my hand go, twist my shoulder, hip, and rotate my foot, and allow this to go straight out, and then we come straight back. All right, now last little point, we want to leave this front hand pressing out towards them even after our jab. So after I throw this jab here and I'm throwing my reverse punch, I'm not going to pull this all of the way back. I'm going to leave this hand out here and reverse punch underneath while twisting. So what this does is it leaves something out here in this space, so if they are countering, I can block and I can use this as a second line of defense. Instead of 1, 2 and pulling it way back here, I can still have the same position if my hand is up front, and it's still going to be useful for me. And even if I'm not having to use it, it just deters them from throwing a technique because they see that hand there. Now obviously a few minute long video is not enough to cover all the details about a jab reverse punch, so if you have any questions on this, please toss it down in the comments. If you have any pointers, any tips, any ways that you like to throw it, please toss those down in the comment section as well. If you like this video, if you like these sorts of drills, please hit that like button. Just lets us know that what we're doing is helping. And then hit subscribe so you won't miss any of our upcoming stuff. I'll toss some videos over here on the side, so go ahead and just check some of those out. That way you can see some of the stuff we've done in the past. And then let us know if there's something you'd like to see in the future. Thank you so much. Have an awesome time training. See you in the next video. Peace.